Well, good morning, everybody. And again, I'd like to start off with some satellite imagery here from yesterday. And as we watched the sun set yesterday, that deep low that started off in Montana, producing the incredibly strong winds that brought all that smoke in from the wildfire in northern parts of Idaho, is now sitting here over the Great Lakes. And last night, it did drag a front that went right here through parts of Ohio and then initiated some storms along the Ohio River that eventually last night blew up into some extremely heavy rainfall, especially right around Knoxville, Tennessee. But the tail end of this is actually pulling back here into the southern plains where there were some storms yesterday delivering some much needed rain to the drought parched regions of the southern plains. Also take note, just as the sun set, you can see the extent of the smoke. This is actually remnant smoke from the wildfires that are still ongoing here in parts of the Pacific Northwest, specifically in Idaho and Montana. But total rainfall just yesterday, looking back at the last 24 hours, you can see the scattered storms here through part of the eastern Corn Belt, eastern Great Lakes up in Ontario, but very heavy rainfall amounts right in through here coming out of Kentucky into Tennessee. So this is the area that we've been really seeing the heaviest rainfall. But those scattered storms back here critical to bringing some near-term drought relief. Now, speaking about drought relief, this is probably the most important image I'm going to show you today, because what it suggests is the way the pattern is going to be shifting here over the next several days, from now through Tuesday. Now take a look. Deep trough, Bering Sea, Gulf of Alaska, ridge here. We've not seen a ridge develop in the Gulf of Alaska that's had this kind of staying power all spring or summer. So this is a pretty significant pattern shift the models have been sniffing out. And they keep running everything around deeper lows that are kind of centered on the Hudson Bay. So this ends up giving us lots of weak frontal boundaries that will move through just like this, and they're going to deliver some rainfall. And that rainfall is going to be much needed for a lot of places that are been extremely dry. And while this occurs, the heat is going to build to the west with temperatures, 5 to 10 degrees above average, sticking around for quite some time. These two maps really summarize your next 3 days on the left and then days 4 through 7 on the right. The big thick arrows represent the jet stream pattern, so you can really see that shift happening. Again, today watching New England and down here from North Carolina back to central Mississippi for severe storms. That's the same front that came through Tennessee yesterday. And then I'm going to be watching right here on Saturday. There's a pretty potent little shortwave that's going to come out of the Canadian prairie and meet up with a little wave that's coming off of the Pacific Northwest. They're going to come together. And the Storm Prediction Center has increased the risk to enhanced for severe storms in this area on Saturday. So let's be on the lookout for that. But these weak frontal boundaries, they just slice through and they deliver, hopefully, some much needed rain to places that really, really need to see it. So the WPC, they updated their 7-day forecast for total rainfall. It's shown here. So you can now start to see those changes. And just remember, though, as this is coming through, we will see the increase for some severe storms. So here's today, Friday. Okay, we're going to keep a couple of eyes out. Eyes. I guess they look like eyes, right? And a mouth opening up. We're going to watch these two regions, though. And then on Saturday, this is something that is just going to really require a lot of attention late this week to keep an eye on. When we look at the high-res models, let's get this up to speed here. This is about 9 o'clock this morning. There's the low. So you're going to see later today, see the storms just popping and firing up on that frontal boundary. This is where we're going to have to keep an eye out for locally very heavy rainfall amounts and possibly some straight line winds. There will be isolated storms that are moving throughout this pattern back into the parts of the Midwest, very isolated. Same thing for parts of the southern plains. But as we get into Friday morning, Friday afternoon, and evening, it's the next wave. Okay, watch it come through the Canadian prairie right there. That's the one I'm going to be watching later in the day on Saturday for initiating those severe storms in this region. So let's keep an eye on that together. But straight to the high-res Euro. Ready? Watch the deeper low by Friday fully establish over the Hudson Bay. Multiple waves are going to come around this, bringing in fronts, and they're going to pull all the way through the central United States. So here's Saturday into Sunday. There's Monday, first front. That front lingers here Tuesday, Wednesday. Second one comes in right here on Wednesday, and it pulls farther to the south on Thursday and Friday of next week. And it's those frontal boundaries that are going to be responsible for delivering better rain. It is showing up in the ensembles as well. This is the latest 10-day outlook on the probability of getting at least an inch of rain. And we just continue to see better chances of rain coming through here, pushing into the southern plains. Every new model run has increased the chances of getting better rains down here in the southern plains where we desperately need it. Now that's been the region that's taken on most of the heat, of course, this summer. And I put in the report today this great map put out by Daryl Hersman. He works at Iowa State, and his map, as you see here, shows the departure from normal on the 2022, looking at the hours spent with a heat index greater than 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and the X's represent where these are records now. So what we're going to be seeing with this pattern shift is where the heat's going to start to build to the west. So you're going to be able to see that now. It's not going away from this region anytime soon, but it's going to start to really build west in the longer range forecast. So let's take a look at the near term first. These are high temperatures for today. Look at this again, 101 near St. Louis, Little Rock 101, just hot in the plains, hot in New England. Those are where our heat advisories are. This is Friday. I mean, the heat is still very much on in this area going into Friday. So we get into Saturday, first shot at cooler air comes into the northwest. That's what's going to be initiating those storms in this area. That's the frontal boundary that's going to initiate these storms. And then we get into Sunday. The front continues to advance. No relief here through Sunday, though. Okay, the heat stays on. Same thing for parts of New England and the East Coast. But this is Monday and Tuesday of next week and Wednesday. So you start to see more frequent fronts returning temperatures to closer to normal, while like Yakima hits 103 next Wednesday. And if you watch here, the 5-day sliding window of temperatures shows that heat building west, but some relief of the heat as we finish July coming into the Midwest, upper Midwest and plains. It's not going to be cold, but it's going to be normal. We haven't seen that for a while. How long does that last? Well, it lasts at least through the very beginning of August, but we start to see the pattern opening back up in the models here going into this point in August. And that brings me to my final point today. While we're talking about relief right now, this doesn't remove the longer term implications of the fact there's still a La Nina and the North Pacific has warmed up. So when we see the new long range updates, which I discuss in today's report for August, September, October, we really haven't changed too much with respect to hurricane risk or redevelopment of drought conditions later on in this growing season. So we're going to keep an eye on all of that, and I'll report back to you again tomorrow. Until then, have a good rest of your day. And I'll make a new in-depth report tonight, too, to kind of dig into this. Have a good one. Thanks.